Come see us on tour in Los Angeles, Honolulu, Dallas, Texas, Baltimore, Atlantic City, Cohoes, New York, and Providence, Rhode Island. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets, and only there. Biden just gave the final middle finger to the working class on his way out. That's right after he gave the middle finger by pardoning Hunter. Gave the middle finger to the American people by pardoning Hunter. Then he gave his middle finger to all the child victims of the judge who was taking millions of dollars to put children in jail. He pardoned him. How many middle fingers does this guy have left?
I count 3, so there's one.
That's 3.
There's tall Biden, short Biden. So both Bidens now have. There's one last middle finger by my count.
So what was the middle finger he gave to truckers? He may be on his way out of office, but the administration has used his final weeks in office to give one last kick in the pants to working class Americans. As Landline Magazine revealed, Landline Magazine? That's the journal of record for people who still have landlines? Is that what that is? I think it's from the same publisher as Cassette Player Geographic and Hand Crank Power Car Window Enthusiast. Can't even get a smile out of Misha. Nothing. As Landline Magazine revealed last week, the Department of Homeland Security has made an additional 70,000 H-2B visas available for next year, doubling the number of the previous year when 1,500 were given to transportation occupations like trucking. So they're bringing in people to drive trucks in America and drive wages down. That's what Joe Biden's doing on his way out of office. That's his big gift. Wow. Jesus.
Wow, the truckers didn't even do a trucker thing like Canada, and he did that to them.
I should, you know what? I should be giving Joe Biden credit just for being able to raise his middle finger to begin with. 130,000 visas might not sound like a lot in the country as populous as the United States, and 1,500 given to truckers, even less so. But when you consider market conditions and just how bad the trucking industry has gotten, you start to see how much of a middle finger to truck drivers that this really is.
Well, they got to compete with Amazon, right?
How bad have things gotten for trucking? Well, the online trucking industry magazine FreightWaves has an entire section of their website dedicated to nothing but trucking company bankruptcies and truck driver layoffs. No kidding. A quick scan through the most recent dozen of 82 articles for 2024 alone show that over 4,000 truckers in the United States were laid off in October and November. And thousands more are at risk of being laid off as the companies they work for seek bankruptcy protection. This number doesn't even include many self-employed truckers whose business closures are much more difficult to track. Given this fact, what on earth would cause the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas to push for more visas for foreign truckers? He gave us a window into his thinking recently in a November press release. There are employers across the country that would suffer greatly with employers.
Yeah.
Did you say not employees, not truckers, not workers, but employers would suffer greatly if they had to pay a living wage to their truckers?
Wait, the number one illegal immigrant human trafficker in America thinks that you don't say.
That you don't say. He really does care about the average working American as much as the Joker cares about his makeup being uneven. This is according to Mayorkas, authorizing these supplemental visas helps U.S. employers fill those positions. Yeah. It helps fuel our economy and reduce irregular migration while also providing a safe and lawful pathway to the United States for non-citizens who are prepared to work. Because, you know, there's nobody in America who wants to work. Yeah, they're prepared to work for less.
And not for long. They get sick of it real quicker and quicker, as a matter of fact. It ain't like the old days. They start to realize they're getting screwed, and then they hate the next batch of illegals you just brought in. It's accelerating now.
Perhaps Mayorkas still believes in the debunked driver shortage narrative that corporate lobbying groups like the American Trucking Association have been pushing for decades in an effort to extract taxpayer subsidies for their in-house CDL schools. Yes, perhaps he does believe that. More than likely, he always knew it was a lie, and this was all on purpose. Of course there's a driver shortage. It's probably caused by climate change, alien invasions, and cholesterol.
Oh, I hate Mayorkas' face, dude. Just look at it. It looks like Dove Davidoff's joke, like he just smelled cookies.
There isn't a trucker shortage, just like there isn't a worker shortage in America. This is all a lie. Don't believe people when they say this. Don't believe Bill Clinton when he says we have to have open borders because we're not making enough babies. The reason why people aren't making enough babies in America is because they don't feel financially secure enough to afford a family. But what people like Bill Clinton want to do is flood the country with more cheap labor to drive your wages down even further.
Yeah, I think about all the racism of like designating, oh, they just keep having babies. Those are citizens. You see the trick?
Yeah.
The rich people go, well, all these irresponsible people have babies, and then they bring in people from other countries and pay them slave wages. And they can provide the babies while you're sterile.
But there isn't a trucker shortage. There's a retention crisis. The result of plummeting wages for truckers that can be traced back to the deregulation of the business. Brought to us by another Democrat, Jimmy Carter, and his Motor Carrier Act in 1980. People forget that Jimmy Carter deregulated the trucking industry, and it's been on a downward spiral ever since.
Wow. And he did that open arms thing, too, to the Mariel boat lift, which was a huge disaster. And not in terms of drug smuggling, of course. That upped that way up. But that's on a national scale now.
Jimmy Carter is one of those rare instances where you have a home builder who doesn't rely on truckers. Thanks to Carter, the average truck driver today's salary is half of what it was in 1980 when he deregulated the industry. Just so you know.
I'm sure he can't take all the credit, and I'm sure a lot of the geniuses behind that are still in power in some fashion to this very day.
The Biden administration's latest slap in the face is exactly the kind of policy that has kept truckers' salaries in the toilet. Like so much else under the Democrats, when greeted with bad working conditions, their answer is, let's bring in more immigrants who won't complain. The trucking industry in America has come to rely on migrant labor instead of improving pay and conditions for American workers.
It's cheaper.
It's right. That's the context in which to understand Mayorkas' visa gambit. It's designed to make it easier for American companies to bypass their fellow citizens for jobs, following a pattern that sees exploiting migrants as a more profitable alternative to offering jobs with decent pay and conditions. It's almost like this administration has one function, and that's to destroy America from the inside out. Seems like that's what they're doing.
A lot of it's called globalism.
Yeah.
The global market. There has to be one global country, and it better be us. So we got to do whatever we can to you, the citizens. And if you're collateral damage like a common Iraqi that you didn't think about at the time, you're one of them. And fuck you. And that's our message to all Americans from the top.
It should come as no surprise that drivers from other countries are often poorly trained, and many do not communicate in English, which you would think would be a requirement for a safety-sensitive job like trucking, and it is. Meanwhile, corrupt DMVs have been found to be giving out truck driving licenses without even testing the drivers, with predictable negative results on highway safety. No kidding.
Wow, looks like Kerp Mexican's going to get some side work.
So you mean I had to learn to hand signal, parallel park, and load the speed limits everywhere for nothing? All I had to do was hop over the border and then come back again?
So they use New York City's taxi driver policy is basically saying.
Yep. A piece of legislation has been languishing in committee since it was introduced in 2022 by former Democratic Congressman Andy Levin that would have massively helped America's truckers, the Guaranteeing Overtime for Truckers Act. Though Democrats lost control of Congress in the midterms later in 2022, President Biden could have demanded that this piece of legislation be prioritized. What truckers got instead was nothing. Nothing but the government throwing yet more money at the retention problem, which helps to keep truckers' wages frozen. The re-election of Donald Trump to the presidency has been welcomed by many of America's truckers, and we hope, yeah, you better hope, that President Trump does not repeat the same policy mistake. It's not a mistake. This is not a policy mistake.
Malice. It is not incompetence.
This is not incompetence. It's not an oopsie. This is part of the plan.
Then we get your speech rights. We disarm you. We do all the things so that you are, and then make you like all the kids in college can go take a day to color in coloring books because Trump got in. We turn you into a 5-year-old forever, and then decide how much slop you'll get to have, like you live in Gaza.
And now it's going to be up to MAGA to care about stuff like this, and we'll see if I don't have any hope that Trump, a billionaire, and you already know that Elon Musk is anti-union for his own workers who'll build his cars. You think he's going to want to help prop up the truckers? No, he wants to bring in cheap labor. Trump has signaled that he will prioritize American workers. Well, he's signaled a nice symbolic gesture to start out this second term would be to cancel the visas issued by Mayorkas and Biden. Well, we'll see. Maybe he will do that. I'm going to guess he won't. I have hope. I don't have faith. There are plenty of American truckers out of work who could fill those positions right now. Yes, there are. So don't believe them when they say that people aren't making enough babies in America. People are making... the reason why is because the economy sucks so bad for them. When the economy's good, people make lots of babies.
Yeah, poor people are. Don't worry. It's all the middle-class people that thought they went to college and they were a good boy and girl and did the thing and they believe in the establishment. That's who's fucked because they got debt from their dumb college they went to, which you're not getting a break on because it interferes with our recruitment. Military requested them never to do that.
Come see us on tour in Los Angeles, Honolulu, Dallas, Texas, Baltimore, Atlantic City, Cohoes, New York, and Providence, Rhode Island. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets, and only there.